Welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we take that midweek break to sit back, relax, and talk about some of the Linuxy things that we personally found interesting going on. This week is no exception because System 76 has launched their new distro. It's called Pop. But they're not the only ones. Stick around for that business. And AMD has gained some of that sweet, sweet market share. And well, as Linux users, we tend to always root for the underdog. But these metrics, Pedro, they might not be legit.
They might not. But we'll also talk about the biggest Linux kernel release yet. Just like every single release before it. And the FSF blesses a few more hardware bits. Stallman's flaming katanas are used for good, once again.
Well, it's going to be a fun time. And yes, it's another great day for Linux, everyone.
Yeah.
Pedro, last episode.
Last episode from Portugal. I hopefully will be back in time for next week's Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays and the stream before it, hopefully.
So you're just going to be fish and chips and...
Oh yeah, fish and chips. I am moving to the Queensland, not the one in Australia, but the actual Queensland, the UK itself. And yeah, I'm moving on Friday. That's why we actually have a bit of an Australian correspondent filling in for me this week.
It's going to be brilliant. Yes. Hey man, let's jump right into this.
All right, so as I mentioned, this is the biggest kernel release yet, and it was so big, in fact, that Linus Torvalds decided to, when he pushed out the announcement saying, "Yep, it's released, it's good, have at," he said that the changelog was so big that he couldn't fit it all in the announcement email that he sent to the mailing list. But what comprised almost half of the new code that made it into the Linux kernel was, surprisingly, the initial support for the Radeon RX Vega. Yeah, the new, not the Radeon Vega that came out, the Frontier Edition as they call it, that came out a few days ago. It's the Radeon RX Vega that is yet to be released.
AMD and their branding, man. It's
yeah.
We love you, AMD, but oof, work on it. It's a wee confusing.
It's still not as bad as the Shield, or the Shield, or the Shield, or the Shield. Yeah. And the new kernel also brings the BFQ and the Kyber schedulers. It has support for proper USB Type-C port management. That's if you have a bunch of different USB Type-C ports. And let's say you have something that's connected to one of the ports that's not using all that much power and is actually idle. It can actually set all of those bits appropriately now. And yeah, like I said, it's almost half of the new code that made it into the kernel is for AMD's new GPU. So I guess that's a bit of a change.
Well, that is the thing. I mean, a bunch of cool things in there. A lot of fun business. One thing I noticed, there's the basic, just the initial open source accelerated, keyword there, accelerated support for the NVIDIA GTX 1000 series. Now,
that's good.
That's very good. Don't run. I was like, oh, I'm going to do all the things with that. It's still extremely slow right now, but it's a thing. And considering how cagey NVIDIA is with the open source stuff, any progress is best progress in that area. So, are you immediately going to upgrade to the 4.12?
No. I'm going to wait until the Zen team, the Licorix team.
As Pedro recalls it, well, no, you see, Vin, last time I burnt my system to the ground and spent a day fixing it.
Well, it wasn't a day, it was like 6 hours, but yeah.
That was definitely a thing. Up next, the fine folks at System 76, hey man, they have pop _ OS.
I mean, that's Threadripper level of marketing right there.
This is also some poorly shooping right here, man. Sorry, that's for a different time. Go back and watch the video version, audio listeners. It's a thing. It's GNOME-based. Going to be perfectly honest, just right off the bat here, I'm definitely at the age where I'm kind of over distros. Give me Hannah Montana Linux. I'm going to be happy. Just give me something that boots with a network stack. Let me loose. So what is it? PopOS It's basically, it's GNOME with a skin job with the custom System 76 drivers thrown in for the mix. Hey man, it's, what's his name?
And remember, his name is the Linux Gamer.
Yeah, cool guy.
Yeah.
So, you know, I understand why they did this, Pedro, because they were based on Unity.
Yes.
Then Ubuntu just torched that and said, next. So they went to GNOME. Instead of default GNOME, they've kind of given it a skin pack, made it look a little better. And I understand having like your own integrated, just kind of look and feel to everything. It's like, this is ours, we can't take it away. But I want to throw this in before you get back to me. I don't know, you know, just a single person who has purchased, be it from, there's a couple of Linux distributors, even if you get something from Lenovo or Dell, that any pre-build really doesn't really come down to a laptop that just doesn't go scorched earth policy on whatever's on the hard drive and just wipe it and put back the operating system of choice.
Yes. In fact, I did actually a bit more than that. I went the extra step when I bought this particular laptop that I'm doing this from right now. I flipped it over, cracked open the bottom, removed the hard drive that it came with, and put in a 250 gig SSD. So yeah, it's like fresh start. But yeah, no, and the pop theme, according to Strider anyway, you know, that guy is a little too important to join us nowadays, yeah. He loves the pop theme, and apparently System 76 have their own PVA, which you can use to download the pop theme and download their drivers and the pop icon theme and everything else. So why are they releasing an ISO with their OS? Did they absolutely have to? I don't know, honestly.
Some people like the CDs, man. I mean, why do you have this unjustified mortal hatred towards writable media?
I don't. I have a flash driver on here somewhere, and I use it a lot. Yeah.
Well, you have an ISO. I mean, you're going to take it and turn it into a bootable thumb drive from the ISO.
Yeah,
so
you can, but it's basically what's going to be the new Ubuntu or Ubuntu GNOME, because let's just face it, now Ubuntu is going to have 2 GNOME 3 variants. Now we have a third one, which is called PopBang_OS.
Sure. Nothing to be sour about, though, is it?
Oh, no. But you see, System 76, they're not the only ones spinning their own OSs. The fine folks behind the Tuxedo Computers, they are a German group that releases Ubuntu-powered, or used to release Ubuntu-powered laptops. And now they are releasing Tuxedo Subuntu, Zubuntu, however you want to say it, 1604 LTS, which is their own customized version of Zubuntu with a different wallpaper and theme, but they also come with plenty of tweaks, a newer kernel version. They have optimized RAM and battery usage on their laptops. And honestly, if you ask me, this is still not a good enough reason to release yet another Ubuntu-based distro, but I guess in their case it's slightly more justified than PopBang_OS.
Could be. It's a new thing, man. Everybody's doing it. Next thing, Microsoft will release their own distro. Wait, they already have.
It's called Sonic.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
It's kind of terrifying. They make some claims though about Tuxedo Computers, about their new. It's XFCE based, good on that, best desktop in the world, desktop manager. They claim the battery life is going from, what were they running, Mate?
Yes.
It was like 6 hours, and with their distribution, it was 12 hours. It was like, what's the screen on 1% brightness? Yeah, I didn't. It's a little fishy, but again, I'm going to say step number 1. I don't care where you buy it from, who you are, is just wipe it and put the OS of your choice on there. Download whatever they want to put on there. Because, Pedro, you never know what's around the corner.
Oh, no, you don't. But this bit of news made the rounds this week. It comes from the Hacker News, and they say that WikiLeaks reveals CIA malware that hacks and spy on Linux computers.
That does it. I'm going back to Windows, man.
Oh yeah, that's 24/7 NSA surveillance. So you're either dealing with one or the other.
Hi, NSA.
Pick. Hi, NSA. Love you guys. In any case, so this teeny tiny exploit allowed the CIA to redirect all outbound network traffic on the whatever box you were running, usually a server, to sort of man in the middle that was a CIA-controlled box where they could snoop on everything you were doing. Now, this only works with Red Hat and CentOS 6 and the default 2.6.32 kernel that they use. So if you have a different kernel version, it doesn't work. If your sysadmin is doing his job, just a couple of IP tables commands and poof, that's gone. And you can't actually actively, remotely exploit, that's a lot of Y's, exploit this particular thing without a third undisclosed exploit. So we don't honestly know just how many boxes are affected, and like most of the news that we get about, oh, this new malware can also target Linux computers. Yeah. And how are you going to deploy it exactly? Because that's the bit that's worrisome. It's like, okay, can you remotely exploit it to get it to my box at any point? And we don't really get that from this.
I don't know,
story.
man. I mean, the CIA, people working for the quote-unquote company.
Mm-hmm.
If you got physical access, you got different problems, but I can understand the benefit of maybe having physical access benefits, air quotes around that, getting something on a box. But yeah, you do how many cent boxes or enterprise? This was patched immediately.
Yes. And honestly, there are a lot, because that's one thing Red Hat and CentOS do, which is they do a lot of kernel backporting. They don't exactly update the kernel version. They keep the same base version, but they backport all of the security patches, some new hardware feature patches, everything they think is relevant. They backport it into the 2.6 point whatever version. And to be fair, let's see, CentOS and Red Hat 6 will be supported at least until November 30th, 2020. So yeah, there's still probably a lot of people using it.
So you're saying this is a little bit more booga than I should go grab some petrol, cover my Linux box, and Hendrix it.
No, it is until we know exactly how they are remotely deploying this. I mean, if you're giving someone physical access to your box, you have bigger things to worry about.
Could one of them be AMD's market share?
No, I think Intel's starting to think that now.
I don't know. Okay, WCCF Tech. All this business in our show notes. It's kind of brilliant. AMD has taken up a reported 10.4 CPU share from Intel in Q2 2017 using the data provided by Passmark's survey. So, yeah,
it's a fair comparison, for being honest. We'll have to see the latest Steam hardware survey for another completely unreliable statistic point. But yeah, it's a fair enough thing, I guess. It's a benchmark. A lot of people run it.
This benchmark, well, let's just say this benchmark, this report, air quotes around that, it doesn't include, consoles, which, come on, AMD's in all the consoles, or any computer systems, basically anything not running Windows. And it kind of, because this story made the rounds, and we're running right now on an 8150, and our upgrade path is a Ryzen 1700. Yeah, we're not going Intel. So what I'm about to say is AMD fanboys just went, yeah, Intel's dead. We got it. It's like using this metric. What this metric is, ladies and gentlemen, is a bunch of people just got their Ryzen 5s, their Ryzen 7s running home. What do? You benchmark it. That's what you do. That's your uptick. Now, for the Intel decline, yeah, of course, because the i5s are wicked cheap and they have great performance. The i7s, multimedia, the stuff that we do with the streaming video production that we do here at LGC Actual. Yeah, man, to get the comparable from the 1700 to what I need for the Intel parts, I'm looking at close to $1,000. So there's no way. and we can hear the ghost of Strider going, "But play games, play games." It'll play games good enough, man. Don't worry about it. I think it'll be brilliant.
And compared to even just going from an old bulldozer, pile driver, excavator core to a Ryzen core, the single-threaded performance gain is like 40%. That's pretty good. And if you looking at the specific the graph that they have on the article here, you can see that around Q4 2005 was when AMD and Intel were almost neck and neck. And basically then AMD just started dropping off right up until now. So yeah, if you are to take that particular metric at face value, that looks like competition. Intel's not dead by any means of the imagination, but I think that may have been a slight kick in the bum because there hasn't been any competition for so long that Intel kind of forgot it existed.
Wow, I don't think they forgot. But the i9s, man, the i9s.
Oh yes, the i9s. Let's pay 200. What was it? $2,200 for
the i9s are a confusing part. The i9s were released whenever they come out, so Intel could go. But these are going to be lower price. You see, the Ryzen's didn't cause us to reduce the price of our i7 line. See, we're not reacting to that. We don't know. Neither one of them ever is going out of business, but competition is brilliant. This is good. It's not as satisfying as when what was it, the Thunderbird came out? Was that like 2000, 2001?
Slot K5?
No, Slot A.
Oh, okay.
The one that just came out and crushed Intel in performance.
Yep. That's when Intel started cheating on the benchmarks.
Oh, they did all type of like sketchy, wicked stuff to AMD. But, soulless corporations, which they both are, ladies and gentlemen, are going to soulless corporations. So pick your sides accordingly.
Okay, speaking of a corporation that may have a little bit of a soul left in it, it's the Free Software Foundation. They are the Stallmanites, the people who are out there fighting for your right to use free software, whether you want to or not. They don't care. They're in it for the free software. That's it. Nothing else. And, well, they are doing a pretty good job when it comes to evaluating when other people say that, look, we have a new free software compliant. It's completely free, completely open source. You can do, the hardware is not running any particular shady blobs. You can do everything. So the FSF goes in and they drop their seal of approval. And with this latest bunch of hardware, they, let's see, it was a bunch of ThinkPads, X200s, T200s, T400s. They also put their seal of approval on an Optron 6276 motherboard, so that's something. Mm-hmm. And USB, Wi-Fi's, and Bluetooth adapters for both internal and external use. So that's a lot of useful software, hardware right there, getting the stamp of the FSF approval.
And Stallman is just putting down those flaming containers. He's like, hey, man, you stuff to buy.
Yep.
Because that man does talk the talk, and I know Stallman's complete whack job. That's why I personally love him.
Yep.
But yeah, he lives what he says, man. I know a lot of people run around screaming and preaching, and they don't. I mean, it's like open hardware and all that business. This is good FSF doing the flying spaghetti monsters work and just brilliant. Yep. Love stuff like this. Wanted to give that a quick mention. So Pedro, you want to build a botnet?
That's where you were going with that. I saw you put that on the notes. Like, where's he going with that? Now I see it.
FriendUp. Okay. Point release. It's here. The internet now on your computer. It's breaking news, man. This seems to be another web-based operating system. Turning any like computer or PC into a thin client. FriendUp comes complete with a powerful kernel-like web server that supports multiple. Yeah, this is. Hey, man, they got a GitHub. I'm kind of feeling the unintended consequences that are going to come rolling during this. Help me out. I'm scared.
Honestly,
I'm terrified.
I don't. The botnet thing seems to be the most likely one, but in its essence, it is a good idea. It's a desktop operating system, completely web-based, that you can share with everyone, so you and your friends and your coworkers can all get together and work on a project, which, if it is a project that needs its own underlying OS, you can use FriendUp. Sure. In essence, that is what I think it's a good thing, but it's going to be abused like crazy.
I wish them the best of luck. Hey, if you're sitting there screaming on the other end, is like, but this use case, hit the contact button, go to linuxgamecast.com. Let us know. Right. This is definitely one of those. So, I think we got one little thing before we get out of here.
Yeah. Another very quick mention. If you watch that Saturday show with a foul mouth, What We Do,
I'm sorry, ladies. I try my best to keep the gaming stuff out here. Pedro is just insistent.
Oh, no. I posted this one in because it's just a quick update, because if you've been watching that other show, you know that RPCS3 is a PS3 emulator, which not only makes with the Linux, but it also supports Vulkan. Now, over the past few weeks, they had been mentioning that they would like to replace the old WX widgets-based UI with something a bit more modern, say using Qt. And good on them, they now have a fully laid out plan. Everything, they already have a couple of screenshots of the new Qt layout. It looks good. It looks like it fits. They have Windows 7 screenshots, so take that for what you will. But it looks like really well done implementation, and if they keep that up for the rest of the emulator, we're good. Just to get all the rest of the games to work.
That's definitely some things with this project. They've made leaps and bounds, especially with their Vulkan implementation, especially under Linux. Linux performance is in parity with the Windows version, and that's not something I normally get to say for an emulator. We'll definitely be covering this in depth, because this is more of a lighter show on Saturday, which is stranger. On our insane show, we'll be doing the more technical stuff. It will be fun. I say good on them. You know, what did you say they were using? Like WX widgets?
Yeah, they started with WX widgets.
Well, got to start somewhere. At least Qt. Yeah. So I was like, why don't you use GTK? But, you know, there's somebody out there screaming that right now. So,
Strider, how you doing?
That's definitely a thing. So, I think we got a slice of pie we want to rock out and a little bit of feedback. But before we get that, we need to say thank you for helping make this show possible, because this show is a Patreon goal that we hit and we've maintained for over a year. Yep.
A whole of 73 episodes counting this one, and a few with the betas, but we don't really count those. Okay, so if you would like to throw money in our direction, there are several ways you can do it. You can go to linuxgamecast.com, you hit the support button. It's pretty easy. You get the links to our Patreon. You get the Amazon affiliate links. It doesn't cost you anything. As long as you're shopping through Amazon, we get a teeny tiny bit off the top. And we know for a fact that a lot of you have been doing some Amazon shopping with those links. So thank you. Thank you all very much. There's also PayPal Donato buttons and a QR code for the magic internet monies. But two people decided it was a good idea to throw some recurring wet stinkies our way. Mr. Peter Adams, thank you. He became a new Patreon. And Dan Testerman upped this pledge. So thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Peter's pretty cool, man. Tester the man. You got to watch out for him. He's cool on a whole different level, man. It's kind of frightening. But yeah, man, come check out our Patreon stuff. We did another round of Feud. Space Australia, Portugal, Space Canada, North America. We kind of rocked on.
That's a very international brand of food right there.
And it's letting us do some other live streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So much of us, you might get a little bit sick, and you're going to get access to your own custom RSS feed if you like the audio. There's a show a lot of people don't even know about, which is our pre-super show. And it's a little bit of this, a little bit of gaming, and a little bit of behind-the-scenes magic, personal life. It's not a show.
And absolutely no filter.
There's no notes. We sit down and hit record an hour before every Saturday train wreck. So come check that out. Come get some cool stuff in return. We appreciate your support. It's been awesome. Also, access to the Discord. We're in there the other 6 days of the week talking our nonsense. But But. Oh,
Yum,
yeah.
yum.
I forgot the Amazon wish list. Okay.
Yes, the Amazon wish list. I forgot that too.
I was going to put a pink chair on there, but I've decided not to. We got some stuff for the studio that we plan on buying. It's just listed here. If you want to enable the Game Shark cheat mode for us and like seriously help us out, go give that a peek all under the support button. But now let's have that slice.
Indeed. So, there was a different story here at the start of the week. I actually didn't read this one, so what's this about, Ben?
Oh, man. You expect me to read this stuff and run the show?
You put it in. You have to know.
All right. It's a simple PiBased Camcorder using a very nice hyperpixel touchscreen from PIM or any people. Name your stuff better. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking. Just help me out here. No, man, this is taking a Pi0W. There's the little bit of soldering involved here, but not much to it, man. You know, LiPo battery pack, nothing to that. You put the screen on it, camera module for the Pi0. That's it. And tape, of course. You need tape for any proper project. Even.
And zip ties.
Yeah, man. And you can make a portable little camcorder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of neat, actually. Yeah. You're going to need a better lens, and someone's going to have to work on a proper sensor for the Raspberry Pi camera module, but that's neat.
This is just a fun project. This is something you can take to schools or anything like that and just stick it together and say, hey, let's do this. No one gets blown up. It's not terribly dangerous. The only kind of small issue right now is the way to initiate recording is by SSHing into it, which I kind of secretly love that. It was like, that's
you could
cool.
easily, since it's just a command you need to run, you could easily wire up a button to the GPIO pins and just when you hit it, if it's not running, it
trigger
starts running.
Script, hit it, Control C. That's basically what you got to do. But yeah, a link to that will be in the show notes. Go check that out. Like I said, that might be a fun little weekend project, especially if you have the children things, and give it a look. So, maybe
I guess
you want to talk to us? Maybe they want to. People don't want to talk to us, Pedro. What are you talking about?
Yes, they do. Let's be honest. We're constantly talking out of our rear ends, so people feel the need to correct us. Consistently, especially me, because I am the one most guilty of that. But I recognize my shortcomings. So if you'd like to remind me of how much I am wrong and how much I suck, you can go to linuxgamecast.com. You hit the contact button. You fill out the form. Make sure to pick LWDW. I'm not fake news. I'm not.
I don't know where that came from, man. I'm over here. I'm working the show right now. I'm switching the board.
And you can leave us your message, correction, suggestion, anything you'd like to shout in our direction. We will be happy to hear your feedback. So this week, what do we have? We have 2 bits of feedback.
Coming up first, man, Joel, because Pedro was talking about some stuff he knew about last week, I think, maybe. He's writing about the HyperThreading. There was a little bug last week. We talked about it. We rapped about it for a hot second. He's like, hey, man, note. That's how you know it's serious. Note. The user space microcode updates only are confirmed to fix older Skylake stepping, because that was kind of the issue, not Kaby Lake parts, which still require BIOS update, which roll in the vendor-only distributed Intel microcode. So
that's an issue.
That's Moonspeak, man. What does he mean by that?
Okay, so last week, if you remember, we were talking about a bug that was discovered early in January this year, that if you were running a certain workload, and it was actually a OCaml developer that found it, if you were running a certain type of workload, it's a very specific, but it would cause your processor to start misfiring if you had a Skylake processor or a Kaby Lake processor. Now, I also mentioned the old Skylake bug, but that's not this. This is specific for the stepping issue that was discovered, and the only way to actively work around it so you don't, lose stuff, because the moment your processor...
to buy a Ryzen, Team Red!
The moment your processor hits that stepping bug, it will be misfiring left and right, losing active jobs that threads are working on. It will corrupt your system, anything you're working on. It's bad. It's a really bad bug. So you'll have to power flush it, bring it back up for it to stabilize. But this microcode that we talked about last week apparently is only for Skylake. Kaby Lake, you still need to go and disable the hyperthreading in the UEFI BIOS, whatever you want to call it, unless you get a BIOS update, which comes with the Intel distributed microcode, as Joel mentions. That's good to know, actually.
No, man, disable your hyperthreading. Know what it's like to have a bulldozer part in your system.
Quad-core bulldozer, yes.
Yeah, the struggle is real. Last but not least, Hedger. Okay.
With a H. Okay, so he says, hey guys, I'm behind the times and was planning on buying a solid-state disk for my Linux tower. Do I need anything special or can I plop it in? Recommendations. Things I should look out for. Really? 4? All right. Now, basically all I can say at this point is to stay away from the Samsung 850 Pros and the 840 EVOs. Ven has an 840 EVO. He can tell you all about that.
Brilliant. Love it. Best SSD in the market.
No, it's bad. Stay away from it. Now, price per gig right now
lasted longer than the one that noped on you.
No, the one that noped on me was already almost 6 years old, so it was past its due date. The price per gig right now isn't as good as it used to be, but the 250 gig 750 EVO that I have in this laptop right now cost me 60 euros at the time, so that's 24 cents a gig. That's pretty good. And I was discussing SSDs with Martin Wimpress a while back, and he says that the current generation of Toshiba/OCZ ones are pretty good. I would just add that you probably should stay away from the Trion series, because those have been reportedly very, very flaky. Yeah.
That's all cute. Let me summarize what Pedro is trying to communicate. You don't have to talk to anyone because it's 2017. So you can basically just buy whatever. That's right. Seriously. In all honesty, SSDs, they're a commodity now. They're cheap. They're not the hyper expensive moon devices that they used to be. And you're talking to a person with $1,000 at that time of SSDs when we first started. I bought a terabyte worth. Fun times. You know, basically whatever you end up with, it's going to be better. Ludicrous. It's going to be the speed different. It'll go plaid compared to any.
It's completely incomparable.
And we're talking about if you're buying like Frank's SSD shop with whatever. If it nopes, all right, it's got a warranty on it. If I had to see, I don't like recommending stuff, Pedro, because the second I recommend something, somebody's going to buy it in 5 years from now. 5 years. It's going to die. They're going to
hold you accountable, yes.
It's going to die. And they're going to be like, Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays and Vince Stone's just full of it, man. They recommended this SSD that I only read 30 petabytes to, and it died after only 5 years. And that's going to be a thing. So I'll say this, like personally, if I'm looking for something that's kind of on the cheap, but I don't want to worry about it noping, but you might be looking for the expensive stuff. Go for it. I like Kingstons. They're not the fastest things by a long shot.
And they're not the fastest in sequential writes or sequential reads. But when it comes to like random IOs, they do pretty good. But then again, every single SSD does pretty good when compared to the slow hard drives.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Samsung still makes good discs.
And they make the 750 EVOs, which, like I said, is the one I bought for this box, because they were supposed to be OEM drives, but most retailers just started selling them piecemeal. So you can go out and get one. They're very, very cheap. And as for your can you just plop it in question, yeah, you can just plop it in.
And now we have the whole world of M.2 form factor drives.
Oh, yes.
So.
NVMe is the hot new sauce, and there's going to be Intel's Optane. Well, they already released that teeny tiny one that can act as cache for your hard drive. Yeah.
And it's been weird because I bought one of the first Intel SSDs and it was great. It was life-changing till I did the first firmware update because that thing just got trashy
and
slow.
And you nuked everything?
That's what it did. It didn't say anywhere that this will fix your speed issues. And they never put anywhere, not even in the mice type. It'll also format the drive, but I sold that thing about for what I paid for it. And it was small, too. This was like first gen, unaffordable. We're talking $500-600. But these days, yeah, I mean, they're commodities. You just go pick one up like you would just go to the hard drive store and pick up a hard drive. You just go to the SSD store through our affiliate link, shameless plug, and do that. And you don't really have to worry about anything. I think most modern distributions are going to have, FS trim built in, or
you could use BTRFS. And if you're not Strider, chances are you're going to be good with it.
And I look forward to somebody running out and buying an SSS. I'm reading the title of the hate mail. Right? If you don't believe me, go check the show notes. That's what my brain was doing. I was like, that's too many S's. I don't even remember where I was going with that. All right. I think
you go down to the SSD store and
you just buy one. They just work. You put them in and they work. Jordan's going to be getting some M.2 drives with his UEFI, and it's going to be NVMe drives, I should say. So he's going to have adventures to report. Maybe we'll get him on one week to discuss. But that's going to do it, man. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been crazy. I might have accidentally learned something, which is just kind of horrifying.
Insanity.
Terrifying. But if you want to check us out, linuxgamecast.com. We do the gaming show. This is Patreon, gold, stuff like that. We don't do ads. It's kind of brilliant. We do it all with your support. That way, you might not agree with anything we say, but no one's pulling our strings. So if you give us a hand with that, it would be cool. We'd really dig that. But if you want to talk to me, I'm at Vinstone on Twitter, plus Vinstone G+. Search me on Google, and this fine young cannibal over here.
Why, hello there. I am Pedro Mateos. I am saying goodbye to you for this week, and goodbye to my country for a few years, hopefully, because I'm moving, and I don't care. Right now, I don't really care. If you want to talk to me, though, you can do so. That's at unaccounted for, or the other way, at unaccounted for down here, on Twitter, or plus Pedro Mateos on Google+. All
right. We'll see you next week, beautiful party people. Bye-bye.
Yes.
End credits.
All right.
Okay, so we got out of that in 38 minutes.